Hi.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hey, how's my audio?
I can hear you. I need to turn mine up, actually.
Can we turn it up on like the volume of our phone?
I don't know if that changes how other people can hear you.
Oh,
I needed to be able to hear you. My volume was all the way down. Hello everybody. Hey Casey. Hey
hi.
Andrea. Hey. Glad to have everybody in here. This is Soul Sessions, live podcast with my beautiful friend Traci. And we're
Hola.
going to be, yes, and we're going to be talking about shame and guilt today.
Whoa.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to back up here so I'm in the camera screen. Me and Traci have been getting dragged by the universe today.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people.
Oh no, I think we lost Traci. Hold on one second. Oh, you're so sweet, Casey. Thank you. So sweet. Has anybody else we're gonna wait for Traci to come back in here. Let's see. Has anybody else been having Oop. All right, hold on. Hey, guess what country still has no power? Happy I get to be here though. Oh, I'm sorry, Andre. I'm sorry that you and Serafina aren't able to record your session. I'm going to be praying for Serafina and everybody there. Okay, hold on one second. Technology has been acting so wonky. Okay.
I know it dropped me for some reason. That's so strange.
That is weird. And now you're like split screen at the bottom.
Oh, is it?
Can you see it?
Is it the black line?
There's like one of you that's frozen on the left side, and then there's like current you on the right side.
That's so weird. Maybe I'm shifting through timelines.
Oh, maybe so. Okay.
That's how we're going to call it. I'm shifting through timelines.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's hilarious. Somebody said, oh, Casey said, so the full moon falls right between the north and the south node, so it's been creating a lot of energetic pressure, if you will.
Oh,
Yeah, the pressure today has been like through the roof.
Yeah, like I woke up and I just felt like so dreadful this morning. I'm like, what is going on?
Somebody said that I gotta boot your frozen side. Andrea said, but I don't know how to do that. My face is like
should I go out and come back in?
I would go out and then come back in.
Okay, I'm gonna exit. All right.
Okay. Yes. So the full moon energy, is all about releasing. And so I have been finding today a lot of people are experiencing specifically shame and guilt coming up, and then the releasing energy, like needing to come through. Hey, Ray. How are you doing? We're going to get started here in a second. We've been having a lot of technology issues. I don't know if anybody else has. So has anybody else been going through bouts of feeling shameful, feeling guilty, maybe like old programming stuff coming up, maybe thinking about yourselves in shameful and guilty ways? Let's see. Okay. Okay, Casey, yes, I've been feeling the pressure to release and it's coming across as frustration. Yes, okay, so we have Traci. And Ray said some anxiety. I was asking if anybody else is feeling feelings of shame and guilt or like the need to release with the full moon.
So where do you guys feel like you've been carrying this energy? Like what portion of your body? Because I feel like mine is my throat chakra and my heart and my solar plexus.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like it's in my right now in my heart space and like in my throat area.
Yeah.
So that's for me. Yeah, I'd be curious to hear where everybody else is feeling that. Root.
Oh, root.
Yeah, because shame and guilt have a lot to do with your root chakra.
What's that yoga move? Child's pose. Do child's pose and just sit in child's pose for like 5 minutes. It will like clear that energy center.
I'm gonna do that later.
For real, because it's stretching you out and you're meditating, and you're thinking about like the muscles like stretching. So you're not like focusing on what's going on in your mind. You're just feeling that pain while you're doing it, and it helps you meditate easier.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna try that.
Yeah, you hold a lot of trauma in your hips.
I have heard that before, that you hold like an immense amount of trauma in your hips.
Yeah,
So
and the root chakras. Say what?
I said that definitely makes sense with like with the child's pose, because it's like all hips.
And it's very relaxing. Like people
Yeah.
go to that pose to relax, but it's still like stretching your hips out.
Casey said, I do hip opening yoga when I feel like this too. Yes, Tracy is in yoga training. So she's our yogi here.
I'm still learning.
Heart and solar, same heart and throat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the portal on the 22nd coming up. And so I feel like that is like right in line with creating like this energy vortex of releasing, like sending us into the new year, and everything is going to like come up and come out to get released. So
okay,
double whammy.
I'm trying to think two in the sense of tarot, right? Like two in tarot means, it can mean like duality. It can mean like yin and yang, like working together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe those words could like apply to that portal, I guess. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I definitely think so. Yeah. Thank you for the tarot interpretation too.
Yeah.
She is also the tarot lady. Yes. Okay, what does your cup say? Cat mom?
Tack mom.
Oh, cat, okay. So Tracy and I, right before this, were talking about how we're going to talk about our experiences with guilt and shame, and help each other work them out, because the universe said, oh, y'all want to hold a workshop on guilt and shame? Well, here you go. So, and it always works like that too, right? Like we ask to learn about something, and then the universe like presents you with it. Like, here you go.
I didn't want to learn it firsthand. I just wanted to like
not
learn
want to
it,
talk
like,
about it, right?
in my mind.
Like objectively talk about it.
Exactly. I'm trying to be a Sims character right now, and I'm not trying to be like
yep.
in my body.
No, I said we're gonna drag y'all through it. Here we go.
Wow.
So I guess what we should do first is like talk about the differences between guilt and shame, and then we can get into like our experiences and what we found. So do you want to give your interpretations first, or you want me to do it?
I'll give you mine. I wrote it down. Well,
okay.
I mean, basically, this is kind of what I've learned. So shame is more of a feeling. Like I feel whatever, you know, like I feel like I'm a bad person, or I feel like what how would you say it for us? Like what we're going through right now?
Okay, so I like the shame that I was feeling today. Like I have been incredibly like hard on myself recently.
Okay.
And it's because I have moved into like doing spiritual work full time, and I have kind of like wrapped my persona around that now. And so like I'm constantly working like 24/7.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, I feel
Underneath that is why are you working and grinding like that? It's because you're worried about failing. Because I have an internal fear of being a failure.
Okay. And
like that goes like way back to like childhood stuff. But like I was feeling, and then another layer of that is that I was feeling shameful of being like hard on myself about it.
Okay. So you felt guilty about it.
Okay, okay, that's perfect.
Yeah, you felt guilty about it.
That's the difference, because guilty was the act of me talking down to myself about feeling bad about talking down to myself. Yes.
Or would that be shame? I don't know.
I think they kind of get intertwined and intermingled with one another a lot. I feel like shame is like you said, an internal feeling that is like all encompassing of you, like very programmed stuff that was put in a long time ago. And then guilty is like an act that you do. Like something.
Okay, so you feel like
okay,
wait. Yep. So you feel like shame is a program, like it's a conditioning.
I feel like if you are a newborn baby, like right out the womb, right, like before you've had interactions, there's no shame there. Like there's no internal inherent shame, right? And maybe we don't have to get into like past lives and all that stuff. Like if we're just talking like straight like baby coming out the womb, right? Like that's a lot of programming and experiences from other people, places, things, or even things that you've done, right? That shape you that way. I don't think that shame is just inherent.
You know, where I feel like I learned it the most, my religious beliefs when I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like a lot of guilt and shame came from my old practices, and I didn't realize that until I was fucking like almost 30 years old. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like they're like brainwashing me.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's
like I literally felt like I felt like if I didn't go to church every single day, no, if I didn't pray every single day to God, that God would be mad at me.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one day where I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to pray and then see what happens. Mm-hmm. And nothing bad happened to me.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
it's just
dang.
it's all programming, right? From like society, the collective, whatever you call it, right? Parents, mm-hmm. whomever, like you don't inherently have those feelings like as a baby right out the womb. No. Right? It wasn't until I was like 26 that I wore like a crop top, because it was like deeply, deeply ingrained with me that that is not appropriate for women, mm-hmm. because of like the religious constructual things I grew up in, right? Nope. And so even though like I knew that wasn't true, like it was very difficult to get my body into something like that, because I just felt so uncomfortable, even though like logically adult, I knew those things weren't true. Like lots of other beautiful women and people just in general wear crop tops. And it doesn't make them like inherently bad or evil, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I know. Well, I did that boudoir shoot the other day. I'm like, oh, like I feel so exposed. But I mean, I was having fun. I want to like be able to appreciate my body as it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, you can even take clothes as like that. Like our bodies like aren't like negative things, but like society makes it seem that way. Like, oh, you need to cover up, or like it's not natural to be naked. You know what I mean? Not to have naked people running around everywhere. But you see what I'm saying?
I don't know if okay. Would you? I don't know. I don't know if I would want to see everyone naked though.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like there's I think, and that's something that when I was like doing research on this, it was like, let's look at shame that helps society.
Exactly.
And then shame that is like detrimental. So like
good segue. Good segue, girl.
so
I love it. You're like the next Oprah Winfrey, girl.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You too. We're going to tag team. Guilt is feeling that you did something wrong, whereas shame is feeling that you are wrong. You're a bad person. That's beautiful. Yes. I love, 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 love that definition. I am an ex-evangelical. I've never heard that term before. Like that.
Ex-evangelical?
Yeah. Don't even get me started on purity culture. Yeah. It's wild. There's a limit exposing the body.
Well, I mean, that's my mom. Everyone has their own like definition of what they like, I guess, or what they prefer.
Obviously. And then like you can get into things too about like adults and children. Like obviously there has to be some type of like boundary for those things.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
And so like all shame I don't think is negative. Because like some things like that, if you're doing something that is like evil, right, you should be shameful of that. It's a course correcting behavior. Like there's a reason that it's there. It's to redirect you to a more preferable behavior.
The thing is, I wouldn't call it the word shame though. Like I would just say that it's something else.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like what's the opposite of shame?
I guess acceptance would be the everybody put in the chat what you think that
what is the opposite of shame is. I think you're right though.
Or
like being accepted.
Yeah, I would think acceptance would be, because shame is like you pushing away, and acceptance is like pulling in. So
that's what we need to do. We need to accept.
Yes.
We just gotta accept what's going on, and it fucking blows, dude.
You mean just like life, or just what we were talking about before?
What we were talking about earlier.
Okay. Somebody put
Acceptable.
acceptance, acceptable. Okay. Pride, not in a bad way, being proud of who you are. Oh, I like that too. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Pride.
Proud.
Yeah, being proud. Yes.
Nice.
And yeah, maybe there's another term that needs to be interjected with like things that aren't the same type of shame that we're talking about. Opposite of shame to me is also like pride, or also pride, like being proud of yourself or what you created. Yep.
See,
I love those.
Look at this. They're helping us figure out our problems right now. We got to be fucking proud of what we're doing, I guess.
Yeah. And this is also why we like doing lives, because like everybody is coming as a healing collective together.
You guys didn't know, but you're helping us solve our problems.
You're helping us. Something that I like to do too, like Traci and I didn't really know a lot about the differences, but this is holding us accountable to doing research.
Yeah, I know.
and then sharing what we have.
There's different categories of shame too. Do you want me to read them off to you?
Yes, I would love that.
Okay. So the first one, it's called toxic shame. And toxic shame is neglect. So neglect of when you're probably a child, or maybe being neglectful of what you do to yourself. Maybe. And then there's rejection. What's this say?
Oh, let me write these down while you're talking about them. Okay. Toxic.
Okay, yeah, so toxic shame, and then rejection, humiliation means abuse.
Okay.
And then no conversation. Okay, no conversation. So basically someone doesn't want to talk about the problems, and then you create a narrative in your mind. I do that sometimes.
Can you explain that a little bit more, like how that looks like in your life?
You have a problem with someone, right? You have a problem with someone, more than likely the other person is a, so I don't know if you know, that's too much information. Okay. Avoidant. Some people are avoidant, and some people are anxious, and then some people are just like secure with who they are. Most of the times when an avoidant and an anxious person come together, the person starts to feel anxious because this person keeps wanting to run away from the problems and not deal with it. So, what was it was called, it said no
conversation.
Okay. And this is what happens. The anxious person can't get resolution from the avoidant person because they don't want to talk about it. So the anxious person starts to create narratives in their mind. Like, well, this is probably what happened, and this is probably what happened, and I probably did this. And it like makes it's like a monster. It creates a fucking monster.
Yeah,
in that anxious
you're like
person's mind.
pushing, one person's pushing and one person's pulling, and it's creating like dissonance in between the two of you.
And if the person just fucking talked about what the problem was, they wouldn't have to be avoidant, and the anxious person wouldn't have to feel anxious.
Oh, we could do a whole workshop on clear communication. We should do that for the next one. Yes. And I feel like all of these, like the toxic, rejection, humiliation, no conversation, like those are all things that can be pointed inward too. Like it doesn't always have to be another person involved in feeling shame. Like you can create that own like shame bubble around yourself and like have all of this pointed this way.
You are correct, girl.
Yes. So guilt, I feel like we're talking about shame a lot. So guilt is you doing something that is out of alignment with who you are or who you want to be. Like it's just not in character and something you feel like bad about. And so I'd be interested to hear what everybody's thoughts are on like what the opposite of guilt is.
It's the opposite of guilt.
I haven't thought about it until you brought it up. So guilt would be, let's see. Becoming secure does make it easier to deal with and spot avoidance. In the past, I would have taken it on as mine.
Yeah.
Yep. Especially if you're like empathic, like a lot of times, like you'll internalize a lot of other people's stuff. Sometimes sometimes
yeah, and I
like
feel like the vibes. It sucks. Like I can feel the people's vibes and like things being off. I'm like, there's something off. I fucking know it. And if there's not, please help me with my fucking craziness.
Yeah,
in my mind.
you start running those narratives, and then you start looking through those lenses, and now it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like you can get into those cycles. The opposite of guilt. I don't know what the opposite of guilt would be. Okay, now I send them to therapy without me. I like that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that. Like the opposite
I don't know.
of
Guilt.
Yeah.
I want to go back to acceptance again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But guilt is the main trigger for my PTSD, so I have a hard time working through it. Main trigger for my PTSD. Yeah, I mean, especially if you feel like you're going through that traumatic situation again. Like, I'll give you an example. Today, me and my friend Robin, we were talking about a situation that happened at my old job. And I was explaining the conversation, the scenario to him. But it felt like I was there. Like, I felt like I was there when it happened again. And you kind of, like, get all, like, in the same fucking energy like you were when you were, like, there. And it kind of starts to trigger you, or like noises too.
Yeah, like you're like reliving, over again, and it can bring on the same exact sense that you were having like in that moment, like the exact same feelings. Opposite of guilt is innocence, and then Andrea said pride. I figured out it was a trigger very unexpectedly while driving.
Boy, that sucks.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, are we supposed to be having these triggers? Like, having these triggers, can it be a positive thing?
I feel like having the triggers can, because like, let's say that you're working on something in like the present moment, like what happened with you earlier, or like what happened with Casey earlier. If you take that situation, that trigger, you're going to have to work through it, or it's going to like keep coming up over and over again. But once you work through that in that one facet of your life, like that one little area, it spreads out to all the other areas that you're feeling guilt, like all the memories and the...
Does the trigger ever like lessen, or is it still like the same like intensity?
I feel like it lessens, because like I used to have, and that's just from my personal experience, but I used to be so hard on myself. But I've like worked through that, so now I still get triggered. Yeah. But the time gaps in between aren't.
Oh, that's what it is.
And like I can catch it, and then I start saying like, oh, we don't need to talk to ourselves that way. We don't need to be in that vibration frequency. Like, it's okay to feel that, but we need to let that go, right? So
well,
I think like
surrounding yourself with people that like are on the same wavelength as you, because then when you hang out with other people, I'd be like, I don't like that they're doing that to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can kind of compare the two like groups of people together and be like, okay, my friends wouldn't do that, and I don't fucking like that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And that's also, we can get into, I'll pull up a topic that you talked about earlier. I'm going to read these. I think as you heal, it lessens. You just have to do the work to heal. Yeah. You just have to like look at it head on and say like, I'm going to take care of this, and like work at peeling back the layers. Otherwise it's just going to keep cycling in different capacities and different experiences. Guilt is related to my need for perfection, which stems from feeling like I needed to earn love as a child by being perfect. That is one of my big ones right there too.
Perfection.
Yeah, just perfection, like being a perfectionist, because okay, perfectionism and imposter syndrome go right hand in hand, because if you feel like an imposter but you push yourself as a perfectionist, it hides the fact that you feel like you're an imposter.
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
So I was saying imposter syndrome goes right in hand with perfectionism, because if you feel like you're an imposter and a failure, you can fake it through perfectionism, right? And you can say, I'm going to bypass the imposter syndrome and feeling not worthy by making sure that everything is presented this one way and looks perfect. Like, I'm going to work at 1,000% all the time. Right. So I never slip. Because
that's a lot of work.
Then they will know.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but like Casey was saying, like that goes back to childhood of like, if you have parents that you have to earn love for, it creates those like perceptual lenses of that's like how you have to interact with everybody. Do you feel like that you have perfectionism tendencies?
Mostly like with my art. Like when I'm doing artwork, like I want it to be perfect. Like when I used to sew, like if the seam wasn't perfect, I just would rip it all out. But like I don't do that with specific things. It's just the things that I like really like actually enjoy doing, like tarot, like spirituality stuff.
I think that's for a lot of people too, like that they care about doing, but like some people are quote unquote like overachievers. You know what I mean? But like even that, like some people just get wrapped up and involved in like thinking that they enjoy being the best at everything all the time, but it's like so incredibly taxing.
Oh yeah.
So taxing. Like I'll be putting together an advert sometimes and like I can't get it quite like centered enough, right? Or the right font. I'll go through like 100,000 fonts. And I'm like, no, it's not perfect, right? Like I have to convey the feeling behind the words. And sometimes I have to remind myself, like, why are you feeling like that? Like, why are you feeling people won't want to come to something if the font is not correct? You see what I'm saying? Like, right? It's that
they're just trying to read syndrome. What's on there.
Yeah.
But like, I can see why, because it's eye-catching though. Like
right, but I can't spend 4 hours on one little advert, right? But it's that feeling like shameful of self, like that imposter syndrome that comes.
You should put Harry Potter font on there.
I should.
I would read it.
I should do that.
Let's see. Most of us probably have perfectionism ties to feeling unworthy. It made me feel like I needed to impress everyone or I wasn't worthy. Like I need to have an X amount of followers or no one cares about what I'm doing. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like eventually you kind of just like, you just have to be like, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to do it for me. Like we talked about this before we came on here. Like, yeah, it's great. I'm glad that we have 5 followers right now, but I'm so glad that I get to talk to her. Like, even if we didn't have 5 followers right now, we enjoy like each other's company. Yeah. And energy.
And that's what I was telling you. Like, it doesn't matter like who's in here. Like, if people come and they heal and they enjoy the conversation, like that's great. But I just want to talk to my friend.
Yeah, I know. For real.
And we're like real. We're like going through real shit, and like I need to get it out of my system and have somebody to talk about it with.
Well, and then also maybe help someone else out that needs help too. Like, I'm sure we're all feeling this energy right now.
Oh, yeah.
In different ways. For me, it's financial. Yeah, that's it. Everything else is fucking awesome.
I was literally just talking to my friend Danny earlier about this, like I was telling you, and we were saying, like, I'm literally not stressed about anything, but like finances really gets me. Yeah. And like everything else is like Gucci, right? But but like finances like really changes the lens of how you like interact in the world, and like it pushes stress, like it changes all your experiences and like how you're interacting like with yourself, with other people. Like it becomes like this big stress ball that you're looking through like with lenses.
Well, it's like I feel like we're constantly always like shifting through different things. Like, remember before for me it was loneliness. It was being alone in this house by myself and being okay with that. I was having a difficult time. But now I'm like, damn, I'm fucking Gucci now. For now. And now it's fucking financial.
Yep. Casey said, I have money trauma so bad too. Hot Mess Express. I mean, and I think that's a lot to do too with like, there's a lot of big shifts going around with like capitalism and just like the new way of doing things. Like there's just a lot going on in the collective right now as far as like finances. So everybody's feeling it.
Yeah. Yep. See, I'm a Gemini. I hate it. People think I'm introverted and I'm like, no, I'm an extrovert.
I feel like I always used to say I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert around people that I'm not 100% comfortable with.
Yeah.
If I'm 100% comfortable with you, I'm very extroverted.
Well, like, it depends on who I'm talking to, like how you were saying. Like, if I'm around them and I feel drained afterwards, I probably don't need to hang out with them anymore.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I just want to be around people that when I talk to, they give me fucking energy and not taking it away.
Yeah, absolutely. When you start really delving into like energy work, it's like a two-sided coin, because it's like, oh great, I can read people, right? But then on the other side of that, it's like, oh well, I feel when things are out of misalignment.
Oh yeah.
And it makes you like sick to your stomach, and like gives you the heebie-jeebies when you're like around things that aren't good for you, right? But even if it's like very subtly not good for you.
I feel like when like you get into energy healing, it kind of it makes you appreciate the energy that you have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you are more like protective of that energy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I used to have zero boundaries. Like non-existent. And now I'm just like, I'm very like, this is my boundary. If you don't respect that, like,
you know what, Brittany? You know what I would do? I would go back into time, like me, 36 years old, and I would go back into the past when you were like 12 or 13, and whoever was picking on you, I'd fucking smack them in the face and push them on the ground. I hope I did.
Well, I appreciate that very much. Like it's just been a journey. It's just something you have to learn and grow through, right? I'm the worst with boundaries, trying to do better. Yeah, when you start really, I thought boundaries were only for land ownership.
For land. I mean, that's how you kind of have to think of it in your mind. Like boundaries, this is how I see a boundary, right? It's a long fucking wall. It's like brick. Blah, 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 blah. And if you want to get through from one side to the next, or even like putting it up, I'm going to say like breaking through a boundary, right? Mm-hmm. So you can either like chip away at that boundary, you can like jackhammer that boundary, or you can create a door to get through that. So, I mean, it's just the process of time, or like how much of that trauma do you want to deal with to get through whatever is stopping you, or like where you should be putting it up. Yeah.
I'm very much more like this is me. This is what I'm willing to accept, and this is what I'm not. And like that's just how it is now, because now like I was not doing a great job of like mitigating my own energy. Like it was just like all over the place, giving it to everyone and everything. But because I've like done an internal deep dive and like figured out what my energy cup is every day, right? I'm not constantly just on running empty all the time. Good. But I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to be running on empty and burn out all the time. And I'm not doing that anymore. Like that's not something I'm going back to.
When we first started talking, I remember me being like, Brittany.
Remember? Oh yeah. No. You'd be like, girl, you need to chill out.
Well, I just didn't want people taking too much of your energy, and I know when you're drained. I can hear it in your voice, or like when you're stressed out. So I'm like, you need to like be like selective of who you're talking to, or like how much work you're like doing.
Oh, I'm so very appreciative of you, because you have taught me not everybody needs to be in your inner circle.
No.
Not everybody needs to be in contact with you every day. Like that is pull. And not everybody. Like there's lots of beautiful like energy exchanges I have with people. But a lot of times you don't always have equal energy exchanges with people. And you can't do that every single day because it's very draining.
Yes.
Yes. We went way off.
It's our ADHD, bro. Our ADHD is like, what?
Yeah, just all over the place. I don't know what my human design authority is, Casey. I know that I'm a manifesting generator. It's like, Casey could probably explain it better. She's like deep down into human design. I just know like the very bare bones basics of human design.
What was I, Brittany?
Do what?
What was I? Didn't you look mine up?
You're a generator.
Oh, generator?
Yeah, you're a generator. I haven't gotten into the authorities yet.
Can you explain that to me?
Generator. A generator
Yeah.
is like like a powerhouse. Like you like start things, right? Like you come in with the heavy like energy of like I'm starting, I'm creating, right? So you're
Okay.
the creator.
That makes
like,
a lot of sense.
yes, like I bet you're sacral authority. Just a guess. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna check it out. I believe all generators are sacral authority. Yeah, so maybe you're a sacral authority too.
Huh.
So
That just reminds me of sacral chakra.
it's about waiting to respond. Can you explain human design? I'm so new to that.
Yeah, I don't really know.
I am not a human design expert. I just know like the very basics of like manifesting.
You should get your
like
friend.
Do what?
You and your friend should do a live about it.
We should. Yes, we should do one about human design. Yeah, I would love to do that. Yes. I just know the very bare bones about it, about the types. That's on my to-do list of diving into.
And that's like the sun, moon, and rising. Like, I'm very like basic information. Like I can't like go into depth about it, but I know like the basics of what it means.
Yeah, like all this like different signs and like what like different personality types and things of that nature. I would watch it too. I literally know like 2 things. I know more about manifesting generators specifically because I'm a manifesting generator. So like it's easy for me to talk from that space, or like a generator, right? But like the other one, I need to learn more about.
So what's the difference between a manifesting generator and a generator?
So a manifesting generator, the difference between a generator is like creating things, and then a manifesting generator is like half things just coming in and half generating. So it's like both of them together.
So there's like 2 different energies coming in?
Yeah, it's coming in and going out.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Okay. I'm a generator with sacral authority, so your inner source of truth comes from deep in the body. Let's see. Human design is a channel system from the late 80s which incorporates multiple modalities into a very intricate blueprint for our energy in this experience.
That's so cool.
I do know that if you look up your human design like from your birth chart and you read it, it is like spookily spot on. Like it will like read you to filth. Okay.
What the crap? It came from I Ching, tarot, numerology, astrology, Mayan calendar, etc. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I tried to do the I Ching before. I Ching. Am I saying that? Am I saying it right?
I think so.
I Ching, right?
One of them. I know a lot more about astrology personally. That's a beautiful thing too, that like so many people tap into different frequencies, like read different frequencies. Like tarot's different, human design, like Akashic records, like there's just so many different ones that people gravitate towards. Like I have never had any type of desire to learn about numerology or like get into that, but then other people that like that's their thing, you know what I mean?
If our elementary school was all of those things, all of those things that you just talked about, I probably would ace them. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'd be so interested in everything they were talking about.
Absolutely.
Like biology, really, I was really drawn to biology.
Really? Because biology, I was like, I don't want any of that.
Oh, really?
What did you like about biology so much?
Just like learning about, that's atoms, right? You're like learning about atoms. Yeah. I like that part about it.
Okay. I think if I had different lenses, because like I have a psychology book that I have now, and it's a biology psychology book, and I like reading that because it's in the frame of psychology. So like if it was like in the frame of spirituality, I probably would have much rather learned about biology. Or like even now, like I really like quantum physics.
Yeah, me
like
too.
Something. If you had tried to give me that in high school, I would have been like, ugh. But now I'm like, oh, okay. Now I see how like Reiki plays into that, and like the etheric field and the unifying field. It makes sense to me through that lens.
Huh. Yeah,
Does anybody else feel that way as far as like not enjoying something, but then looking at it through a different lens and then enjoying it? Also, I know we were going to talk about the experiences that we had. Me too with.
What's that?
What is
Q?
I don't know.
Physics? that physics?
Oh,
quantum physics.
Yes, quantum physics. Yeah, like it's easier to understand if you're looking at it in a way that you enjoy.
Yeah, physics is. I like physics. I just don't like the math portion of it. I'm like, yeah. I'm not trying to do this.
Yeah, I guess
but that's how I learned about time travel. Like I think I told you about this, that I took a class.
Tell us about time travel, Traci.
So, okay, for time travel to be possible, I'm trying to remember. No, for real. The past, the present, and the future all have to be happening at the same time. Mm-hmm. The second one is because it comes from a black hole. Something about I can't remember what it was. I have to write it down. But I took 2 physics classes about time travel, and if it were to be real, how physics would play a part in it. And it was.
Where did you take these classes? Because that sounds like so much fun.
Literally, it changed my life.
Yeah.
In the sense of how I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like opens up your like perceptual awareness of like, because like now we're into like time isn't linear, you know what I mean? And like, so like that is what I do with people in past version healing, because I teach them like all of those past versions of you within you are still alive, like in breathing in their own consciousness forms, like, and there's future you, right? And they're all happening like at the same time. So time travel within yourself.
The other day, I was talking to Eric about mirrors. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Supposedly mirrors are ways to time travel. It's kind of like a portal. I mean, I know that you've done mirror work and stuff, but I don't know if it's true. I don't know if I've actually done it, but like, and then he was like, how do you travel through a mirror? I was like, you don't travel through the mirror, you travel through your mind, but you're like looking at yourself.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna say something on that. Okay. Andrea said time travel Traci wants to be a podcast title.
That would be sick.
You should do that.
What would be that? Would be TTT, triple T.
Yeah, triple T. Casey said, I don't mess with mirrors in the bedroom for this reason. A lot of people think that mirrors are also like portals to like other dimensions, and that you should not have them in your bedroom for that reason.
Oh, really? I just don't have it facing towards my bed.
Do what?
I don't have a mirror facing towards my bed.
Yeah, I think you're not supposed to have them like pointed at you like that, because they can be portals. You have to lock them, but we don't have to get into all that. But
yeah. I want to learn that stuff.
Cosmology, or rather the Hubble law, would say that time and space is an arbitrary mathematical equation. Check out cosmology and how it relates to time travel.
Ooh, I want to.
Cosmology.
I love time travel.
I'm gonna check that out. Okay, cosmology. Okay.
Yeah, I want to write that down.
I was talking to a friend earlier me and Traci are both ADHD, and sometimes like we're just going where spirit's saying to go. Okay. So, I have a mirror in my bedroom. I have a mirror in my bedroom too. But
just don't have it facing towards your bed, because when you're like laying down,
it's not facing towards my bed. Yeah. I think as long as it's not facing towards your bed, it's okay. But so I was talking to, I want to know about mirrors. Do another live. Okay.
We should do that. Should be the next one. We should like learn about it.
I'm gonna say, so I was talking to somebody earlier about contacting her past version. Like how do I contact her like it's its own consciousness form? And I said, what you can do is you take your phone and you record yourself talking to your past version. Like I would talk to 20-year-old me in the phone, and I'm going to coach her, and I'm going to teach her, and I'm going to higher self-talk to her. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to look in the screen, and I'm going to imagine that I'm speaking with her, right? And what happens is you see yourself, but you see through yourself. You see through like a mirror, like you see through your energetic layers to the younger version of you. So it's like a mirror, like you're talking about. That's time travel though.
Okay, but are you in their mind? They can't see you. You're just in their mind, right?
When I do that, me present right now, I can see myself shift to the energy of me in the past.
Okay, but your mind is so creative though. Like I feel like it's so easy for you to do that. Because you can see shit like very vividly in your mind, right?
I have the feeling, I have the clear of feeling. So like I feel things. I don't like see the imagery. I think I have the thing called, what is that called? Anna something where you don't see images in your mind. But I feel everything inside. Like there's a, yes. And so like, I can feel.
So what clair is that? That's clair.
It's the claircognizant.
Oh,
claircognizant. I think clairsentient is with your.
Oh, sense. No, sorry, my bad.
Claire aliens. I can't remember. One of them's Claire aliens. Anyway, time is completely fluid, so therefore you're all right on track. So when I'm doing that, I can feel like her consciousness come forward. And like I'm speaking to her, but I'm looking at me, but I'm looking at her, if that makes sense. And so it's like what you're talking about, the mirror work, but that's time traveling.
Yeah.
Like back into the past, right? Okay. And then what?
So Einstein believed that if you go to the past, you cannot change it. Mm-hmm. That's what Einstein believed. But do you feel like when you do that and you go to the past, do you feel like you're changing something in the future?
Yes, I do. Because
so
thank you for saying that. And aphantasia. That's it. Aphantasia. Okay, that's when you don't see pictures in your mind. Okay, so I do feel like it's changing things because if I'm going in the past to heal one of my past versions and release them from that energetic timestamp, okay, like from shame and guilt. Let's just say shame and guilt. I'm going back and helping her. So she is constantly running behavioral patterns and triggers that are pushing into my present moment. Right. Okay. So like I am acting right now in ways that are from her, from behavioral patterns. So if I go back there and help her heal, she is helping me heal in the present, which means I will be different in the future. And so doing that, I am completely changing my timeline in the future.
Do you feel like you can take the energy of your past self and bring it to this now moment?
Absolutely. I do that.
By doing things that trigger your inner child, right?
Yep.
In a good way, not in a bad way. A glimmer, yep. Right? I don't know.
Yes.
Like me doing hula hoop or me singing karaoke or like things that I would have connected with my inner child. So you're bringing that energy here.
Oh, absolutely. I tell people like when I'm doing that past version healing that you can, like, it's not always bad, the things that happened in the past. Like you can embody things that they have to teach you too, or like things that they enjoyed and bring them forward. Like maybe I had like a really creative, like 3 or 4 years, right? If I'm trying to do something right now, I can call on that past version if I've made a connection. So like today, I was incredibly stressed out. Like super, super stressed out. And my past version came forward and she was like, hey, do you remember when we used to listen to dubstep? Like that doesn't resonate with me now. Like I don't really listen to dubstep, but she was like, you remember when we listened to dubstep and it was incredibly like healing for transmuting stress? And I was like, yeah. And I put on some dubstep and I listened and I was like, yep. I was like, thank you for that. Like, thank you. Like it doesn't.
That is so cute. I love it. I love it.
Thank you. And because then I tried to listen. Go ahead.
Like you're just helping yourself out. You know what I mean? Your past self is helping you out right now. Mm-hmm. So you're helping yourself out.
Yep. Like I had to help her through something the other day as a trigger. And then she came back around and helped me today with my stress. So it becomes this like beautiful healing cycle. Right. But like you're saying,
I love that.
That's literally like time travel. I never thought of it before in like that context of like going to the past, changing the future.
Yeah.
Changing the here and now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how, so time travel is possible through our own consciousness. Because
yes, I love
that. Because imagine, to time travel, you have to go very quick, right? There can't be any mass to it.
Yes.
So, and I was thinking, believe me, this is like a weed fucking like binge, and me like figuring this shit out. So I'm like, how can you travel through time without a time machine? You know what I mean? Okay, you have to be light. There can't be any mass. You have to be light.
Yeah.
The speed of light, your fucking soul. Like your soul that weighs nothing. So of course your soul can travel from here to that to there and back through your mind.
That's very interesting that you say that, because Andre said, like a beautiful pool of time consciousness merged. Yes. And so I have not always had this relationship with my past versions and like able to like recall them like split second. And I think it's because they incurred a lot of trauma that I was sweeping under the rug and like not wanting to look at. And so they were denser. And like you're saying, like, in order to access them like very quickly, you got to get into a lighter frequency, lighter vibration. So like before, like they were repressed, like way back, way back. And it wasn't until I came back in and helped them release some of that stuff, but now I can call them up very quickly. And so that makes sense what you're saying as far as like you can't be dense in time travel, like even through your own consciousness.
But you have to be light.
Yeah. We're the time machine, and our inner infinite space is the time machine. Yes.
I like that. That's awesome. We're the time machine, and our inner infinite space is the time machine.
This is gone.
Sorry.
Now we're talking about inner consciousness time machines.
We were talking about generators and manifestors.
Yes, I love it. Well, we'll have to do a whole nother segment on that.
That's so funny.
It's okay, I was just trying to keep track on the time. Okay, so back to swing back around to the shame and guilt. Is there anything that you wanted to share from like your experiences today? Like feelings that you're having come up, like maybe that'll be beneficial for somebody, we can talk about it.
Yeah, just the shame. I mean, like how we were talking about in the sense of finances and having to ask people for help. It's very, it can be very difficult.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to put that burden on other people either. So, and that's the guilt part about it. You know what I mean? Like now I have to take my negative ass energy and ask you for help. And I don't want it to like stifle someone else, I guess.
Yeah. It's so funny too, because like we love helping other people. Like I love helping other people, but then like I feel so guilty when I ask people for help. I'm like, I don't want to burden you, right?
Yes.
And so where do you think that shame comes from? Like of like root.
Where did it start from?
Yeah, like where did that come from? Where did that start from?
In the sense of finances?
Asking people for help.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I heard a story once.
I'm waiting for I'm on pins and needles for the story. I saw that.
I know, right? I know. I saw it on the corner of my eye.
We'll give. She might be typing. We'll give it a second. So where do you think that spawned from?
Shame in general, right?
Yeah, well, shame of asking people for help. Like why do you think that you have a difficult time asking? Same, I have a difficult time asking people for help too.
I'm sure it's probably conditioning, maybe. I don't know, like, because I don't remember a lot from my past. I think I kind of dissociated a lot of my past, so I can't really recall where it came from. I don't know.
So she said a family in need asked for help from a neighbor, and that neighbor went and asked for some salt. Their children then said, "Mom, why do you ask them for salt when they have nothing?" She responded, "Okay." I agree with you that like a lot of that is like conditioning. Do you think that the military, like your time in the military, had anything to do with it as well? Like, did they push like being in solidarity, if that makes sense, like survival, like, you know what I mean?
So the military helped me out a lot in the sense of my ADHD, because it was, I mean, this is pretty bad, like with me and you, like, but at least we have some sort of structure, like you keep bringing us back, which I like that you're doing that. But yeah, the military helped me with structure, the structure of my life, a lot of it. I don't know, in the sense of like guilt and shame.
Okay. Do you feel I asked them for something small because people have a hard time asking for help, and when we can show them that they are needed as well, they are more likely to keep asking for help. I love that.
Thank you.
Hyper independence. Thank you for sharing that story. That was
beautiful. Oh yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a beautiful, beautiful example. So how can we commune to make everyone feel comfortable and needed when it comes to help? That's a beautiful prompt. I love that.
Yeah, I know, in the sense of help. I mean,
I think like being vulnerable.
Yeah, being vulnerable, like how she said, like just doing little steps.
Mm-hmm. Like even what we're doing here, like that's one of the reasons that Traci and I do this, or I do it with other people, like soul sessions, because we are showing people like it's okay to be vulnerable, like even on a public platform, like in front of other people, because like vulnerability a lot of times is seen as a weakness, and it's a strength because it takes like a lot of courage and bravery to do that. And so like stepping out and like that story is saying, like showing other people like it's okay to do that.
Yeah,
like there are safe spaces for you to do that within.
And it's difficult at first, very difficult. Like when we first did this live for the first time, like now it's kind of, I have a little bit of butterflies, but not as bad as it was when we first started. And I was like freaking out. But then over time, it kind of just dissipates a little bit. I mean, and believe me, I need to like learn that in the sense of like asking for help with when I don't have finances.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that also when we were talking about independence and like not asking for help, like hyper independence is a trauma response.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely a trauma response. That's because you have not felt safe and secure from other people that are supposed to be like helping take care of you. And so you're like, it is unsafe for me to rely on other people.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I am not going to ask anybody for help because they'll either hold it over my head or what was the other one I was going to say? Hold it over my head. I lost it. But like it's a trauma response from not feeling safe.
Yeah.
Or that's what it was. Or they'll let me down. Right.
Well, I'm sure it probably happened in the past, and that's why you think that. You know
yeah. Like, especially if it happens several times and solidifies that like into your paradigm, your behavioral patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the only way to get through that is to extend like an olive branch and like let people help you.
Yeah.
Which is like the crux, right? Because you're like, I have to do the thing that's like super scary to like get through it.
Well, it's interesting too, because then you'll see who actually cares about you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you're like, I don't know, like if you're like saying like my finances, I need help, you know what I mean? Like hopefully they'll be like, hey, is there something that I can do to help you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or even if it's not giving you finances, like even like creating a safe space for you to like vent to them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because not everyone has the means to be able to do that.
Yeah, not everybody has the time and energy. Some people don't have the capacity to do that. Sometimes they're going through their own stuff and like they can't hold space, and like that's okay too. But it'll show you, like he said, like who's in alignment with you and then who's not, like who is really a supporter and who's not. And sometimes like not everybody is going to be your supporter.
Yeah.
And that's where we swing back around to boundaries.
Yeah. You're like, you go away.
Yep.
Choose you. Don't do that to someone else, not me.
I always wonder how hyper-independence around finances is associated with generations trauma, aka past life trauma. Yeah, that's where we could get into like a whole another thing about like past lives and like karmic rollover lessons and cycles and things of that nature too.
That'd be so fun. Imagine if we just did this every day. We're just like talking about this stuff.
That would be super fun. I would love that. And also, like when you're talking with somebody, you get like in brain coherence and you start like actively working things out instead of just like being up here in your own.
Well, also by doing this, like we're learning a lot. I mean, you and I, and then whoever like has been hanging out, like I'm sure they had to have gotten something out of this.
Yeah, I did. So
yeah, me too.
Yep. And then I was going to say something about hyper independence around finance. Oh, the generational trauma too. Like if you have, like, okay, so we all like generationally share DNA with one another, right? Like grandpa, dad, you. Let's just say that. So your DNA gets encoded with things. And so if you have, it's not just the words that people speak to you. So like, let's say that your dad or your grandpa tells your dad that like money is evil. Yeah. Or like it's not virtuous to ask other people for money, right? Like you got to figure out your own stuff. Okay, so that's getting passed down like verbally through the words, but it's also getting encoded into your DNA as a vibration and a frequency. So like you're already born into generational trauma before, like, as you come out the womb. So like you already like preset with those things. That's why sometimes it's very difficult to get out of those cycles, because it's like literally encoded into you.
Well, remember with Joe Dispenza too, how he talks about like the verbiage that we use every day. Like it's things that we've used from the past that we're bringing into the present. And that's why, like, I don't know, that's why I want to understand that so I can stop doing it now. You know what I mean? Like I want to like stop those things that are holding me back from like progressing forward, and these things from the past that are holding me back. So what use different verbiage.
What kind of verbiage do you think that not think that, but that you're using that you think is not beneficial?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
The finances shit. Every day I'm like, I have these scenarios in my mind where I'm talking to someone and like, I'm saying to them in my fucking mind, I don't have that kind of cash right now. Like I'm tapped out, and I'm saying these conversations in my mind, like, well, I'm fucking broke. I'm fucking broke. I'm like, bitch, stop saying that. Shh, be quiet. For real. Like we don't need to be saying that in our mind, because now that's why we don't have any money, because you believe that you don't have any.
And now we swing back around to shame. Okay. So with that, I mean, verbiage is very important too, because it's like we're creating like spells, like we're casting right out into the unifying field, the universe, source, like what we want the server to bring to our table.
Okay, I was going to ask you this. Sorry. What do you feel like when people have that conversation in their head where they're saying, I don't have any money? What do you feel like a word is that we can use to switch to? Like, what is a good segue? Okay.
Can you say it one more time just so I make sure I get...
Okay. When I have these limiting beliefs about me not having any money, like in my mind, I'm saying, shit, I'm fucking broke.
Okay, yes.
What's a word that we can use to take its place?
So I took a Change Your Language, Change Your Life course, and I'll send it to you. Because it's very quick. It's like a minute long every day for 30 days. It's really cool. But cool. The one with finances specifically, she said, when you say I'm broke, I can't afford it, like you're just solidifying that into your subconscious and your reality, right? And so she said, you can say, that's not a financial priority for me right now. Because if you jump from because
that's not a financial priority.
That's not a financial priority for me right now. Because if you're jumping from, sometimes when you jump in frequency and vibration of things like too high, your brain doesn't believe you. Like your subconscious doesn't believe you. You have to get to like a neutral point, right? So that's like you having like incredibly horrible like like bad thoughts about yourself, right? And then trying to say like, I love myself wholly and completely. Like it's hard to make that jump. And so with the one that you're talking about, like you're going from saying like, I'm broke to saying like, it's not a financial priority for me right now. And then after that, you can get to like, it's coming for me. It's like, that's my reality.
Money is coming to me. Or I'm a magnet for money.
Yeah. But see, even then, that's a big jump.
Yeah.
Like you have to get to the neutral
jump
point.
in that?
it's not a financial priority for me right now. Are you something like shortened than that?
Yeah.
Let me think. So,
well, because when I see that's not a financial priority, it makes me think that I'm not going to spend money on it, so I'm not going to buy it. You know what I mean? Like when
it's not ever coming in for you. Is that what you mean?
No, like when I see that that's not a financial priority, I think of I shouldn't be buying this thing, and that's why I'm saying that.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Okay.
So yeah. I'm not spending money. That makes sense.
I think in that sense, then that's a perception that you have to change of that. Like you have to say, like, it's not one right now. That doesn't mean that it's not coming for me in the future. So that's a perception flip that you have to do.
Okay.
Yes, if that makes sense.
Or is there something else that I could say that makes more sense in my mind? Because when I see that, I could utilize this, but not with the thoughts that I'm having in my mind.
So something that I have found that's really helpful for me, like just with thoughts like that in general, not even just like finances, but just like across the board, is saying, is this thought aligned with who I want to be? Is this thought aligned with me? And something you can even shorten into that that I was talking about earlier is, and I'm going to go back to this. This is like a tried and true I need to go back to. Is this thought making me feel constricted or expansive? Like when you start to, like, you can say affirmations all day long, but if you're not getting to the root of like why those things are coming up, so how you get to the root of those things, and I'm just talking in general, how you get to the root of those things is asking yourself questions. Like questions is how you unearth the energetic layers. So go ahead.
So that's what we should be doing then, right?
Asking yourself the questions. Yeah.
Asking yourself, right now financially, why do we feel shameful of asking for help?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I have gone, like, that's one that I contacted a past version of myself and I found the answer to that. Like one of the answers, but it was me continuing to ask myself, why do I feel that way? Why do I feel that way? And like, I had to keep going underneath the layers to find, and I'm sure there's more underneath that, but there's always like a root ball reason. Then you got to get to the root ball, and the root ball, and the way that you do that is like continuing to ask yourself why, like over and over and over and over again.
But I'm trying to think in the sense of like me saying, stupid fly. Okay. Me saying, I'm broke. Okay. So I'm saying I'm broke. I can't afford that. Do I just ask myself, why do I think that?
Yeah. Just ask yourself.
Then I'll be like, okay, I think that because I didn't work enough, or I didn't make enough to be able to afford that. I mean, to afford. Yeah.
So we're gonna do an exercise together.
Do it. Yeah. Do it.
Okay. So we're gonna do this thing called 7 layers of clarity. Okay, you ready? So we're gonna take. Okay. So you're gonna say I'm broke. So you say I'm broke.
Okay, I'm broke.
Okay. Okay. So why do you think that you're broke?
I'm broke because I didn't.
I did this exercise. You said what?
I should have worked more hours at my gardening job, or I don't know, maybe did taking more time to like work on my solo stuff. I guess, I don't know. And also Eric was here for a week, so I didn't work that week. So now like I don't have enough funds that I usually do. So that's why like my brain is like freaking out and it's in survival mode.
Okay. So, well, there's 2 ways we can go here with this, but I'm going to go with, why do you think that you are in survival mode?
Because
are you comfortable doing this on live?
Yeah,
because
that's fine.
we're about to go like deep in here. Okay.
Okay. So like, I've always been a saver. I've always been a saver. And I have savings. I have some savings. I'll be okay if I go into savings. But my mind doesn't want me to do that. It's like, bitch, like, no, you saved all this money. Like, don't blow it. Don't blow it. But
Okay.
And I know there's like a limit to tapping into that. You know what I mean?
Okay. So why do you think that you are not able to tap into this money? Like, why do you think that your brain is like, girl, we don't need to get in there. We don't need to touch
because
that.
It's for emergency funds. It's for emergencies.
For emergencies.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Why do you think it's for emergencies? Just keep going with me here for a minute, okay? Why do you think it's for emergencies?
Well, so I don't know. I don't know why I think it's for, because when things happen unexpectedly, I want to be able to have the money there so I would be able to fix whatever it is that's going on.
So like a safety net.
Yeah, it's like a safe. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And I know, and we keep having this conversation, you and I. We keep having this conversation about how I don't have money, but I have some savings that I could utilize, but I don't want to. But it may have to happen.
What? So a question: what do you consider an emergency? That's a good one.
Like my car breaking down, or something big happening within my house, like something breaking that I absolutely like need. Like if I get into like, I don't know, like I am somewhere else and I can't get back. Like things like that.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you the next one. Why do you think that if you spend the finances, that it's not going to be replenished?
Yeah, I know. I don't know why. Because I would definitely utilize. Okay, so I for the 6 people that are watching, I have a soap company. I make artisan soaps, and I sell them online at farmers markets. And like right now, I'm like, fuck, I need to buy oils and I need to buy colorant to make more soap so I can sell them. But I'm like, well, you can't tap into the funds. But I mean, I need to so I can like make more money.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does that not count as a emergency?
I mean,
like why does that not count? Like I don't know. I'm trying to figure out like, so this is an emergency situation. Yeah. Because it's a this or that situation now. It's either I buy the soap or I don't have income coming in. So like that literally is an emergency. Yes. Maybe intertangled into your mindscape is an emergency only looks like something extremely disastrous.
Yeah, that's true.
When emergencies are relative to you, right? So with the funds, you said, I wasn't sure. I'm not sure why I can't get in there, right? Like why my brain like won't let me do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think your brain won't let you do that?
Because my ego doesn't want me to spend all the money frivolously, I guess. I mean, it wouldn't really be frivolous though. Like I would actually be utilizing it to grow my business, make more product, and sell it so I can make more money.
So you don't actually think it's frivolous, right? No. Right? Yeah. Okay. So why do you think that your ego doesn't want you to utilize it for your soap making business or whatever it is that you need to use? Why do you think your ego is trying to keep you back?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it wants me to go more towards the spiritual like aspects of what I want to do, which I am doing. Like I'm doing the yoga teacher training thing, but.
Okay. So are you feeling like there might be like a misalignment with your like soul?
I don't know.
Like asking yourself, like, what direction do I want to go in life? Like it's causing like a juxtaposing energy.
I think what like kind of like what I'm figuring out with you right now is like, okay, like I'm going to do my teacher training. It ends in May. So I'm going to continue to keep doing this soap making thing until May. And then if I start liking the yoga stuff more, I'll start to waver away from that and do more of like the yoga.
So are you worried about making an investment in something that might not pan out on the other side?
Yeah, but I mean, it's still like something to do. Like I do enjoy doing the soap making and being creative and meeting people, and there's a lot of like positives to it.
But your original plan was my soap making business is going to be my life. And now yoga has come in and it's like, oh, here's like, this whole other option, right? That we might do. Okay. So the ego's like, no. This is what we've been doing. This is what we know. This is what we're comfortable with, right? And so, but now you have this whole other timeline that's coming up. So you're having like the butting up energy against one another, right? And so there's also
it's like solace and yoga are like butting heads with one another.
Right. Okay, so maybe that's why your ego is keeping you from spending that money, because it's like we're not seeing these in alignment with one another. Like you're looking at them like it has to be a this or that, right? Like you can't do both, even though I know that logically you know that, but subconscious,
I would totally do back.
Okay, subconscious in the back, maybe you're not believing that yet, right?
Yeah.
I also think that you are having a past version consciousness split happening right now, because there's this version of Traci that was going to do soap. Like that's going to be your life, is like doing your soap business. And she's like, has those perceptual lenses of like, this is our life. But now you're kind of like turning the ship and you're saying like, oh no, I think that this might be a more preferable timeline. And that version of yourself that you're splitting from right now is like holding on to you. Yeah. And saying like, girl, we're not doing that. Okay. But like it's an entanglement. It's okay to pick things up and to put things down. Quote Brittany. Yeah, that is something I say a lot. Thank you. I now have a quote, personal quote. Thank you. So yeah, fear of success. Like that's a big root cause, right? But I think that what's underneath all of this money stuff that's going on for you right now is you're worried that something's out of misalignment. Like, am I headed down the right path? And so that's what's causing the hiccups of spending this money. And then there's a whole,
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think like I can energetically feel that you're splitting off from that past version of you. That's like, we're gonna do soap and that's what we're gonna do. Right. But now you're like shifting and you're like, well, now I might want to do spirituality and maybe I want to be a yoga teacher and all these things. Right.
Well, I've always wanted to do spirituality.
Yeah. But now you found a solid avenue to do it. It's not just a theoretical, hypothetical. Now it's like, oh shit, like this is really happening right now. And so now you have two juxtaposing like timelines and you're looking at it like, I got to do this or I got to do that. Right. But it's like, we can do both. Like we can do both of the things.
For sure. Yeah.
But I think there's a piece of you that's keeping you from using that money because you're like, I don't want to put time and energy into something that's not my life purpose anymore. Yeah. But you don't have to look at it like that. Yeah. It can be another avenue of income, another source of joy and happiness and creativity. Mm-hmm. Right? It doesn't have to be a this or that. But I think there's a part of you that thinks it has to be this. You're like, I'm not about to dump all this money if I'm not going to be making soap 6 months from now. But that
and that's another thing. I've had this like quarrel in my head, right? Mm-hmm. Because, okay, so right now I'm taking yang yoga classes, which are, it's fucking awesome. But there's also yin, which is more like chill, and you're like holding the poses, and I really want to do it. But it's like another $800. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, like I really want to do that, but I don't know if I should, like, I don't know. And I have this money just sitting there.
She said, I think following your dreams is an emergency. I love that. I agree with you. Yes.
I love it.
Okay. So I see, this is what we're talking about though. Like, you're like, I don't want to put the money into soap if I don't know that that's going to pan out for me. I don't want to put money into yoga if I don't know if that's going to pan out for me in the long term.
I know, exactly. Right?
That is lack mentality though, because you're looking at it as getting something out of it on the other side instead of just enjoying the experience. And then what you're doing is getting into constricted energy, because let's say this happens.
Brittany, you're always so right. You're always so right.
Oh, let's say that let's take an example, okay? So let's say that you do your yoga training, okay? And then there's somebody that you meet along the way that helps you incorporate yoga and soap and lets you do both of them. But you won't see that experience. You won't be looking through those lenses if you're like trying to get something out of the yoga. Like if you're not there for just the experience and along for the ride. Like, here's the money.
Yeah.
I'm just going to enjoy the ride, right?
Yeah.
And then like those things open up to you.
My phone's dying, girl.
It's okay. It's okay. We've been talking for a long time.
Well, I appreciate the people that came, though. The 7 people that are there.
Yes.
And the people that came before that, too. Like, I love
yes,
it.
we appreciate you. You have helped us significantly.
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, follow Soul Soap.
You want to learn from Traci.
See where I go with it. But, yeah. Well, hopefully we can do this soon. I would like to do it more often with you, girl.
Yes. Let's do these. Let's do these live workshops and work out our issues with each other in front of people.
People are like, "What's this crazy broad's doing?"
Yes. Well, thank you for everybody, and thank you, Traci, for coming.
Thank you. Sorry, my phone's dying, but
it's okay. This has been super helpful. I'm glad it's been very helpful, and I'm gonna post this up on Instagram after we get done in case anybody wants to watch the first half. All right, thanks, girl.
Thanks,
I
guys.
love you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Have a good night. Happy full moon. Bye.
Bye.